Hi, everybody. Welcome to Access Astrology. This is three astrologers who gather weekly on the internet to talk about what's in the news, what's in the charts, how the heavens can work, and how you can work with the heavens. My name is Ann Ortley. I'm an astrologer here in New York City, and a beautiful fall day. And happy Rosh Hashanah to folks that celebrate that holiday. And I am joined by, and also fall equinox. We just started a new season. Yay! I am joined by my two fellow conspirators here, which means we breathe spiros together. Conspirator is a good thing. My one conspirator, Heather Roan Robbins.
Hello, this is Heather Roan Robbins from Western Montana tonight, joined by
Mark Waltz, New York City.
Wonderful.
With a cold. Mark has a cold.
With a cold, yeah.
With a little cold. So welcome to. Yep. Go ahead.
And how have you recovered from your wonderful trip?
I have. I was like looking through the pictures, and I decided I was gonna. They have those little books you make of pictures, and so every day on the ship they gave us like a brochure of where we were going. So I took pictures of the different pages of each day, and I'm going to make like a little book with pictures behind each day. Is a little memento. They're kind of cute. I went to an 80th birthday party this summer with my friend on Martha's Vineyard, and we all got a book in the mail. And it was like kind of it was just one of those little mini, it's not a lot of money, but it's like a little, because we don't do photo albums anymore.
Right.
And they live on phones, things live on your phone and, die on your phone. But I thought I would do a little but I had good. And then, of course, I got back, and my birthday was while I was on the cruise. So I've been having lots of birthday celebrations.
You haven't had a withdrawal from good food. You've just
I have not withdrawn from it. It's a Moon and Taurus year, Heather. I got good food all year long. So I had a couple people over the other day for an equinox lunch. Couple people, one had COVID and her boyfriend got beaten up by the ocean, so she stayed with him. So we had last minute cancellations. So we had really good food. And then I went out. I've gone out for dinner now. I went to the Mermaid Inn, which wonderful seafood. And then I went last night. One of my favorite restaurants in New York is called Robert, and it's at the top of the Museum of Design over on Columbus Avenue. So it has or Columbus Circle rather. It has a beautiful view of the park, and you sit there and watch the sunset, and it's just gorgeous. So I just had dinner there last night, and then today I decided it was fall, and I made my chicken. I roasted my chickens with onions and carrots, root vegetables, and in a balsamic vinegar, mustard, and honey sauce, because those are the things we have in the fall. So
that sounds
I am like all fooded up.
And you're using Taurus to its best advantage.
Yes, and I have Jupiter and Cancer, so I'm enjoying the energy of that stuff. So yeah,
I think the Libra Sun, Libra Mercury. This is today's chart tonight, and the Moon and Libra are also wonderful for a moment of good living in the middle of everything else.
Yeah.
Which is lovely. And that the Grand Trine all this week, that Grand Trine with the Sun in exact trine today with Pluto and Uranus and Mercury moving into that. Now, talking about the eclipse that we just had, and which someone referred to, or several people referred to, the Millennium Falcon eclipse, because we've got the Grand Trine with the opposition and two squares on either side. That's just a pattern without any of the aspects.
Yep. Heather, can you adjust your mic a little? You're kind of breaking up a little. Yeah.
Sorry. And what a wonderful workshop! What a wonderful. I found that a lot of people spent Saturday cleaning up piles. We spent cleaning up piles of, burnables here on the land. I heard of people cleaning up piles on their desks. Did you find that you were cleaning up piles? It sounds like Mark was cleaning up piles for your health.
I didn't. I worked Saturday, so I work on the weekends generally. So I worked all day. And we did go in.
That's cleaning a pile.
Well, we also went into a lot of deep. It was like a lot of deep readings that day, where we got into, when am I getting it? No, we were kind of deep diving into old psychological stuff. So it was good. Yeah. or diving into old history that you're carrying forward and trying to release. Remember, with this new moon eclipse, we are still in eclipse season. We have 2 more weeks. So we had the new moon at 0, and then we had the full moon on the 7th, and then brouhaha from the 7th to now. The new moon says, okay, forward we go. And this was the Charlie Kirk funeral. And also, it's a new moon eclipse. So now we have 2 weeks of, okay, how are we handling it? And then down here in New York, we have the General Assembly. So we just had Trump go and give a long-winded speech where he told every country in the world they suck. So kind of an interesting, well, that they should all follow his lead, and then they would not be failing countries. That's a better way to say it.
And as if he's not driving our country into that. And it's interesting. I noticed when we pulled up his tri-wheel for the day. Not that I really want to look at him, and we'll talk a little bit more about this next week, about questions about his health and but he's got his progress moon in Scorpio down here at the bottom of the chart.
Right.
Mars is moving into that lineup, and he is just he is speaking out in a way that is really frustrating, I think, to the country. Uranus is sitting right in his 10th house, so the idea that you never know when he's going to speak, what he's going to say next.
Right.
But it's been interesting to watch that hit America's chart.
Yeah. Well, and also, if you notice, his progressed Mercury is right on his Mars. So that really being right. right at the edge of the 12th house here, that's really Mercury in Leo is very can be very self-righteous. Isn't always, but it's about what itself wants. And on Mars, it gives it a real kick.
Yeah,
for that self-righteous energy.
It adds a level of aggression into it.
Yeah.
And actually, he's playing out a lot of what's going on this week with Mars and the Sun.
Yes.
Because Mars enters Scorpio, the Sun goes into Libra. That just happened. And then the two of them are touching off on Neptune and Uranus and Pluto. It's one after the other. So it's Mars and the Sun with these guys that they're doing a little, not a dance exactly, it's more of a contest.
Yeah.
There's a real sense of contest to it. And that, whatever came out of Trump's mouth was affected by that as well.
Yeah. And the Mercury on Mars, you also see his progressed Mercury is on his natal Mars, but transiting Mercury is on his progressed Mars.
Right.
So you've got when you see that echo print in 2 different places, it's an issue. And his being able to speak out on a good day, Mercury Mars conjunction means you speak from the hip, you're direct, you cut through the crap, you skip the diplomacy, and you might be able to kind of make a good point. If you are kind of performative Mars heavy anyway, with Mars on the ascendant, it can take that over the top.
Right. Yeah. Speaking as a Mercury Mars square girl, I know I have to always kind of pay attention to how I say things. And so I'm really careful. I never have a cocktail and then do a chart. Even cold medicine. Like if I do cold medicine, I don't do a chart. Because that Mercury Mars is very, it goes. And it can be very sharp. The other thing is, when we're looking at a chart, we can see, kind of the inclination for the chart's natal potential to happen. And he already has, a pretty sensitive Mercury up there with it in Cancer. And so now that Mercury, when the sky changes, his Mercury is going to shift. And now with the moon today out of bounds in the path of fire, not out of bounds, it's in the path of fire. We got a couple days of fiery communication. So all good. But also we're approaching a Mars square Pluto square. So Mars is going to square Pluto tomorrow, and the moon in Scorpio will square Pluto tomorrow. So we see those as, we see those as pretty big aspects. So with the Mars square Pluto, it's a war aspect. And to Mark's point,
it happens twice a year for people that are, so it's not a war aspect as in World War III necessarily, but it is a local trigger for a fight.
It's a trigger for a fight, yeah. And so we see the sun there at 0, as Mark pointed out, doing the trine with the air planets. And then we see the Mars in there with a square to Pluto, kind of triggering the trine and also forming a hard at. You don't have quincunxes turned on, but it's got a quincunx. It's forming, Mars is forming a finger of God with Neptune and Saturn and Uranus. So Mars is the apex of a finger of God, makes it a particular, and it's in its rulership, and nobody else in the sky, nobody else in the sky is in the rulership. So that makes Mars the strongest planet out there in the heavens right now. So we do want to watch, just kind of be on your consciousness of, okay, I can fire off pretty quickly. Is that in my best, is that my best choice? No. And it's still eclipse season.
Absolutely. And the sun is flaring, it's shooting off in all directions. None of them are coming directly at America, at the country at the moment,
right?
At the Earth, but they are shooting off in all directions. Still very active.
Yeah.
Now, one of the interesting, I'm looking at for how long this Pluto-Uranus trine goes on and off for quite a while. And I was looking at the Pluto-Uranus cycle that goes, because Pluto
5
has
years. 5 years.
elliptical. Well,
5 trines rather.
5 trines. 5 trines in a period of time. That it's about 115 years between one Pluto conjunct Uranus, beginning of a cycle, which ours started in 1965. This is the opening trine from the 1965 the conjunction. But sometimes it's 140 years, then it goes to 113 years, 140 years, because the orbit of Pluto is so elliptical. But in this opening trine, and it feels like, I feel like 2 horses pulling forward, and who's got the reins is Neptune. And when we see these 2 horsemen, I wouldn't call them of the apocalypse, but of the transformation. Horsemen of the transformation, being held with the reins with Neptune. And either we can use positive Neptune and have vision, and let vision and empathy and sympathy and connection and intuition, all the good positive Neptunes, or it can be that illusion and projection and delusion and seeing it as other. Now, I've noticed that when Uranus heads into Gemini, Uranus was in Gemini during World War II and during the Civil War, and during the American Revolution, not the Civil War, that we tend to polarize it. Uranus, the twins, it come in this camp or that camp, this camp or that camp.
Brothers divided.
The illusion that we're playing with it.
Yeah.
Right. And to what I asked people to really watch the tendency to see that, to polarize your thinking, to split your thinking process, to see that, how do we integrate it? If you can't pretend, you can't throw junk away, it's going to go somewhere. You can't pretend that people don't exist that are inefficient, because they are in the world and they are affecting you. But we can use that positive Neptune to steer it. And it's, if we don't use positive Neptune, negative Neptune will come in there. So because that's going to be in the driver's seat during all of those various exact trines coming up.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's also remembering, none of us have, anybody under 84 has never lived through Neptune and Gemini. Mm-hmm. So this is new energy.
Uranus and Gemini, yeah.
Yeah, and none of us have lived through Pluto and Aquarius, because we're not 250 years old, and none of us have lived through Neptune and Aries. So these are all new energies for all of us on Earth right now. So it's helpful to go, okay, what's the vision? What's the vision? What's the idea? How do I work with this energy? Right. So, yeah, big deal. Big shifts. Mark, what do you think about this whole eclipse thing?
Well, I'm looking actually at the transit chart for today. Mm-hmm. And I do actually like the feeling of that kite and the way that it plays off the chart, with the sun newly into Libra.
Mm-hmm.
Sun going into Libra is always a big event. And when it does it with a chart like this, it's very useful. So if we hold on to that energy and work the sun with Uranus and Pluto, it's a good energy. It goes beyond the little things. It's a larger thing. So the UN meeting this week is probably a good choice because it's big energies that are on the table.
And I'm a little worried. I mean, so that Mars Pluto, that war aspect, as Anne pointed out, that can often sparks accidents or acts of violence. It can also help just give us focus or help us work out. It doesn't have to be dangerous, but it can be.
Yeah.
And that's when the moon goes into Scorpio tomorrow and hits that Mars. Kind of look around for events that let you know more about that scorpionic energy, because Mars is going to be in Scorpio for quite a while here.
For 2 weeks, or 2 months rather.
2 months.
So
It
yeah,
goes pretty fast now, but yeah.
Yeah. So the moon goes into Scorpio at 5 a.m. East Coast time, and the moon meets Mars at 7:55 a.m. and Mars squares Pluto at 7:51 a.m. and the moon squares Pluto at 7:55 a.m. So that little East Coast time. So you're going to watch just a couple minutes before 8 in the morning. If you're up, if you're not, turn on your news feed and see what went down. And again, with Mercury opposite Ceres, there's a real opportunity for misinformation. So
Yeah.
hang on till you get the full story before you jump to conclusions.
And all of that about the Neptune in Aries, trying to figure out what is the truth through that pattern, as we see so much, going on Facebook these days. 9/10 of it, I mean, besides the ads, is AI or made up stories or trying to get you emotionally responding to something that you can tell the story's fake, and trying to find out where is the truth in this. Really building in the habit of checking everything you hear before you emotionally respond, especially if it jerks your heartstrings, especially if it gets you excited. All of that.
Yeah.
It's
called clickbait. We want to have you click on it, and bait hooks you like a little fish. So you want to be careful.
And a comment was made that the U.S. is full of health chatter right now. A lot of misinformation. Again, it's amazing what's pouring out on that. Keep looking for the truth underneath the truth, and just keep peering through the fog, and Neptune can be helpful.
Yeah, the Neptune is the apex of the finger of God with Mercury in Virgo and Mars in Scorpio. So the whole thing the other day with acetaminophen and Tylenol, I had trouble saying it just then too. No bad there. That causes autism. I'm like, what? But that's the Mercury in Virgo sextiling the Mars in Scorpio, quincunx Neptune. So every person that took Tylenol when they were pregnant, even though there are not studies about this, are now going, oh my goodness. So if you're sick during your pregnancy, don't take Tylenol, tough it out. I'm like, I mean, that is that finger of God, fake science, or not. I'm going to qualify that science that hasn't been proved. So.
And I, as someone who has more Virgo planets than you can shake a stick, am so, I've worked in the natural food industry. I believe in natural health.
Yep.
But what I'm seeing is it made an absolute fool as it's being set up against medicine instead of a place to start. If they were really interested in natural foods, they would go deal with processed foods, not with all these other health issues around the edges.
They take the GMOs. They take the GMOs out of the food supply.
Good to know.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to bring up Jimmy Kimmel's chart. Now, we don't have his time, unfortunately. We've been really looking for it. But is he a classic Scorpio moon and Aries, or what?
Yeah.
Tact is not his middle name. Mercury in Scorpio, but he has Mars is right on his Mercury, and Pluto is square his Mercury, and
Mhm.
that without knowing which house it's in, though it's very plausible that it's ninth house, even without knowing which house it's in, we feel that pressure, that he kind of the compulsion to say what everybody else is saying,
Yeah.
or what everybody else is thinking, with that Pluto square the Mercury, and feeling that power struggle over the right to speak is is really powerful for his chart at the moment.
Right. And when he was fired, it was around 3 o'clock. It was Mars in Libra dove into his south node in Libra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was interesting because it was opposite the Chiron on the in, and also you can see the Pluto on. This is a solar chart. So what astrologers do, we don't have a birth time. We cast the chart for Sun at noon. We know he was born in. You know he was born in New York, and so those solar angles work because the midheaven is how you're perceived. But you
Mm-hmm.
can see also on his ascendant, he's having Pluto there.
Mm-hmm.
And Pluto got to 349 this year and then is retrograding back. And you can also see Pallas Athena sitting there. So that's the strategic approach. Now it's going to be interesting because Disney got all those letters of complaint from the actors and the craft people, because obviously they produce content. But the two companies that are up to merger that hold the affiliates are saying they're not going to air his show. Both Sinclair Broadcasting, owned by Tyrone, and Nexstar, who wants to buy them. And that's the merger that everybody was getting all excited about. That they wanted to be nice for, but they also need a waiver to have more than 40% of the market. They're going to get like 80% of the U.S. with merging these companies, and they're very conservative. They're owned by very conservative people, and they have very conservative content. And when you watch the news programs, if you Google it, Sinclair, they all read, all the different stations and all the different locations read the same news. So those of you who live in
Mm-hmm.
Sinclair or in Nexstar territories, you probably want to write your local affiliate and say, "Hey, I'd like Jimmy Kimmel to be back on," because these guys, even though Disney put it back on, these guys are looking to merge. 80% of the country is not going to get it
Right.
because they're saying they're not going to show it. So now we have to go there, and so the local affiliates, ABC affiliates, if they don't show
Mm-hmm.
it, you want to kind of maybe write, I think this is because the law is more than 40%. So old Carr, the one that said easy way or hard way, has to waive that law, which Congress passed, that no one, back in the 1996 Telecommunications Act, that Clinton signed when he was getting impeached over Monica, which banned brain tumor, being able to sue telephone companies for brain tumors, and also put this thing in where people could buy in multiple markets. Used to be restricted. You
Mm-hmm.
couldn't control that many markets. So they opened it up, but now this is a big one. So these guys are saying we're still not going to show it. So now we have to go next level and go to the local markets and say, "Hey, what are you doing? Freedom of speech, baby." So we'll see. It's not over. Like I said, this eclipse is not over yet.
Yeah.
No.
We still have 2 more weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
so we'll see what happens. He's back, but if he's not on 80% of the nation, it's
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
So that eclipse was very close to a trine to our natal Pluto. It
yes.
was very close to quincunx, the United States moon, and what I am noticing is that, and Mars is sitting right on our progressed Saturn on
Yes.
this process, and Uranus is heading into our seventh house. And I think that's one reason why when Uranus goes into the seventh house, all our relationships around the world go through changes.
Yes.
Now, one of the and is the Saturn and Neptune going through the bottom of the chart, squaring our Venus and Jupiter. People normally love us, but are not going to love us until those planets are passed. That
Mhm.
America is choosing to put itself in a backwater, to choose to be irrelevant, and that I'm it temporarily. And I think after that progressed new moon in Pisces, a few years back, we've really been stepping off for a while the grand stage. When and conflict is trying to bring it back into vision. But I think, for instance, in the communications, we're going to have to invent new ways of communicating, sidestepping those conglomerates and finding new ways to have the news checked and to get the word out. Where can it be reviewed news that we can access and the personalities that are being thrown off mainstream collect in a way that we can access them. But I think we'll see that, but it's not happening right now.
Mhm.
So we have one chart that I wanted to, we got a person here with another grand trine. And Jennifer has a question. She's getting ready to move. She lost her mother a while back. And she has, this is a specific question here. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to find the right one, the right information about her. The Her mother passed away about a year and a half ago, and it's been very difficult. She's living in her apartment and living in her mother's apartment, renting her own. She was her caregiver for many years, and she was very close to her mother. But she's now interested in relocating to North Carolina and leaving Florida. Now, I haven't been able to put, um, I and should she sell her apartment? One of the things that I see with her chart, how important it is, she's got that Venus Moon conjunction, which often is unusually close to the mother. And it down here, we see that this is her progressed uh, chart on the outside. Her progressed moon is in Gemini. So this is a good time for her to, in the next 15 months, to relocate because she may feel like she's got two homes. She's ready to look elsewhere. She's ready to move on. She's still going through some emotional mourning and as she gets ready to sell her mother's house and relocate, everything she picks up will be painful. But to that process of sorting, of releasing, and of giving her heart room to start over and meet people that are worthy for her own heart. What are you seeing, Anne?
Well, I think she's having her Saturn return, right? So
Mm-hmm.
part one, part two. And so that a lot of times, because Saturn's in her third house, can be a little bit depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Her progressed ascendant in a few months changes into Capricorn in but looks about like 9 months or so, 8 months. And so that kind of brings her a whole new life.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at directional, where she wants to go. So the the energy of the chart is really still kind of figuring out all the options. Her progressed moon is in a dithering place in Gemini in the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I have my home, I have my mom's home, and that's going to be there for another 9 months before it gets out of that 6th house. So I think I would just say, they often caution, after a parent or big important person in your life dies, take time until you're really clear. And so she's saying she wants to go to Florida. So I would say, well, go down and live there for a month, see how it feels.
Or she wants to leave Florida and move to North Carolina.
Oh, we'll go to North Carolina. Okay, then.
Now she's got a strong Venus line. I can't figure out how to get the charts, the maps up here, but she's got a strong Venus line that goes through Cape Cod and down. So the farther north she goes, farther north and east she goes, the easier her chart will be.
Will be
in
right.
general.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So experimenting with the new place and
Right.
seeing if you like it. Are there family and friends in North Carolina that are calling her? What's the call for there? But the Florida housing market is very hard to sell things in right now. I live there. I have a place there. But it also, because people aren't buying and the insurance costs are high, and a lot of condos are on the market because of reserve issues from the collapse of the Miami building. So it may not be that easy to sell the places that she has there. So renting them is a good idea. But it doesn't look like she's ready to commit to the new life until we get that Saturn. She finishes her Saturn return, which is next spring. And then Uranus, is on her Athena. So she's coming up with good ideas about what she wants to do. But I would be like, try it out before you actually take off and go there. Yeah.
Pluto is squaring her natal Mars
Yeah.
through January, February of 2027.
Yeah.
And it'll come and go and tag that. So in 2027, she's starting a whole new life. This year is kind of going back and forth and moving. She'll probably want to have been relocated by the time that her progressed moon gets into Cancer, and that's about 15 months.
That's 15 months, yeah. Mark, what are you noticing?
I'm noticing technical difficulties at the moment. Somehow I lost
the visuals.
The visuals.
Well, we can see you. You can't see that you lost the screen on your thing? Okay.
Yeah, let me see if I can. No, it's not coming back.
Technical difficulties.
Well, but you can hear me, so.
We can hear you. We can hear you and we can see you, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can say we're running overtime as it is. Would you like to lead us out, Anne?
Me or Mark? He does a meditation. Oh, okay.
He does the meditation, but we may not meditate. You want to lead us with the final meditation, even if you can't see us, Mark?
Yes. Okay. I'm going to take us back to that.
We can see you, Mark. Your camera's on the side there. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
There he is. He's leading right into the camera now.
Take a moment and think about in your chart where your Mars is and where the Sun is and the aspects between them. See if that has anything to do with what's going on in the sky now. And look where look where Libra is in your chart. Early Libra, first degree. And that's where the Sun and Mars are playing. So think about how you use the energy of Mars. Think about what it is to make a muscle and to use that muscle to move you forward. And look in your chart and see what house it's in, what sign it's in, and how you use that Mars and how you can use it with the Sun playing off of it. Take a moment just to think about your chart. Good, and now you are going to go ahead with the week.
Yes, and the rest of the eclipse season.
Yes.
So, signing off, I'm Ann Ortley here at the Bright Red Desk in New York City. Wishing you all a happy rest of the eclipse season. And Mark?
Mark Waltz, New York City, over by the Hudson River.
And Heather Rowan Robbins in Montana.
Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Okay.